I will never understand why people put people's lives at risk, like cater to the flipping feminists. I'm gonna be so honest. I don't think women should be in firefighting because lives are at risk, and anybody got time to lower the standards for your feelings. Police, because why are you putting them in risk? And maybe the army. Fuck it, the army too. Like, you don't need to be there.
They be actively recruited.
I'm sorry.
Within Los Angeles,
if lives are at risk, fuck your feelings. If you don't put them at the normal standard, if they can't make it, they can't make it.
Fire chief was known for being
like
the
Navy
first
SEALs.
female chief, the first openly gay chief.
Nobody give. First of all, collecting badges is crazy. Nobody gives a fuck. I'm tired of this, bro. Sorry, my bad. Let me fix my camera. Random. Can we stop with this bullshit, especially at fucking work? I don't care what you. I don't care what you like. I don't care your sexuality. Nobody does. Why do you need to openly say this? Nobody gives a fuck.
And someone who made sexual diversity a very public goal of the department.
What does that have to do with fires?
Outside of LA, as the fires were burning, this video clip went viral, and it made a lot of people furious.
You want to see somebody that responds to you.
What the fuck is that? What is that? Is that a woman? What is this?
Your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives.
What? Oh my god, my house is burning down. You're black. What the fuck are we talking about? Yo, I'm out of the loop. I'm bugging. Like, is she like, this has to be retarded? I'm sorry.
That person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire.
Okay, so I'm guessing it's a woman, of course. This is like peak delusion. Like, I don't know who's funding this bullshit. Get them up out of here.
Which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Sorry? Did she just say it's your fault that you're in the fire? What the fuck? Yo, what's going on? Am I bugging? Only about 5% of working firefighters are women. Keep it lower.
She's not a low-level recruiter, but a deputy fire chief who earns over $300,000 a year there. Now, the last
deputy fire chief, and she's saying that BS. Talk about why did he get her?
Half of that video is just bizarre victim blaming, and it's somewhat insane for her to say it, let alone for the department to then promote it. The first half, well, we'll get to that later. That clip sparked a worthwhile debate about female firefighters and beyond. And for fighting fires, is there really strength in diversity? But, as is often the case...
Bro, diversity doesn't matter, bro. When are we going to go to a meritocracy, bro? Nobody cares about diversity. Nobody cares about your gender. Nobody cares about any of that. If you can do the job the best, you should be there. It doesn't matter. If the whole force is white, it is what it is. If the whole force is men, it is what it is, bro. It just leave it at that. If you can't fit, don't come.
That debate devolved into stupidity. I mean, for years we've heard in the corporate media that of course there should be more women and diversity in fighting fires.
Why?
Don't be a bigot.
Why?
And now...
That's people's lives at risk. Niggas is playing... Sorry. They're playing games with people's lives. For who?
Mainly online. There's a backlash that essentially says wokeness caused Los Angeles to burn. So look, if you want to get angry, this isn't the best video for you. But if you want to actually get smarter and understand the philosophy and the reality of that issue, stick around.
It's not even about anger, bro. It's about disappointment.
I will give this to you as even-handed as I possibly can. Because as fun as outrage videos might be, they make us a little dumber and more smug at the same time.
Of course.
I'll show you what I learned about the history of LA and female firefighters. And answer, can they do the job? As well as, why aren't there more females fighting fires? Finally, we'll look at, should diversity be a goal, as well as the hidden downsides of diversity. First, Los Angeles has tried hard, really hard, to recruit female firefighters.
Why?
But despite spending millions on diversity programs and hiring its first female chief, women still make up just 4% of the force. It's barely budged since women first joined the department years ago, and it's pretty similar to rates throughout America and most other countries. In LA, they launched ambitious programs to change it. The city hired Kristen Crowley, who promoted a number of women to top positions. They launched special recruitment initiatives, a fire department girls camp for teenagers, and a big DEI program. They're spending serious money on it too, about $1 million annually just on the diversity staff. On one hand,
Okay, why? I need to understand why. What does this bring? What does this bring? What is the agenda? Why? Why do you need to force it to happen? What the flip it, yo?
Made some differences. In 2022, about 8% of applicants were women, double the previous rate. But getting women to apply is one thing, and getting them through training is another. 83% of male recruits completed the training. For women, just 57%. But here's something that rarely gets mentioned.
They lowered the
When
standard.
people talk about the percentage of female firefighters, they're specifically talking about the frontline firefighting positions. The numbers look very different in support roles. For instance, 77% of 911 dispatchers are female.
That's disrespectful. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. That needs to be 50%. That's too high. 77. That needs to be 50% men. I refuse. This is discrimination. We need feminism.
And they have a much higher representation in fire prevention and public education and medical roles.
Bigotry.
Those roles are crucial to public safety, but the focus and the controversy remains on getting more women into active firefighting.
Okay, can we get to the why, please?
Positions. Should we be doing that? It's a complex answer.
Absolutely
but the
not.
very first question should be, can they do the job? After
No,
all,
that shouldn't be the question. The question is why? Why? What's the goal? What is the goal? That's what I need to understand.
fighting fires is life
What
or
is the
death.
goal here?
I know that sounds cliche, but it's true. And firefighting is a physically
get to why?
demanding job. I
More
researched into
females.
the standards that they have for men and
Should
women.
diversity be
Now,
okay? Okay,
most
so the why is
physically
here.
demanding jobs offer up lower standards to help women get involved. Virtually all
So so they can't do the job. So they can't do the job. It's not about they can't do the job because they're lowering the standards for them.
police departments and much of the military do this. So I was surprised to learn
Much of the police department and the army.
that, for the most part, male and female firefighters are held to the exact same physical standards. Most departments use the CPAT, a nationwide standardized physical fitness test that doesn't care about your gender. You either pass or fail, and the standards are pretty clear. You've got 10 minutes and 20 seconds to complete 8 critical events while wearing a 50-pound vest to simulate breathing equipment and protective gear. Want to climb up the stairs? Here's an extra 25 pounds to simulate carrying tools. The test has withstood legal challenges because it's not theoretical. It mirrors what firefighters actually do. Dragging 165-pound dummies, handling high-pressure hoses, carrying heavy equipment upstairs. Fire doesn't care about who's fighting it, and neither does physics.
Of
And
course.
importantly, despite what you might hear on social media, the LA Fire Department and most other cities haven't lowered those standards to help women. They're using the same national testing requirements as most major departments.
Allegedly.
Still, accusations pop up. In 2005, the city controller alleged that the chief had overruled drill master recommendations in 9 cases involving female recruits who failed the test. But here's what doesn't get enough attention. When women pass these tests, legitimately pass them, they perform as well as their male counterparts. And speaking of demanding, it's not about just passing one test. The job gets harder when you add in real-world conditions. Firefighting gear alone weighs 50 to 75 pounds.
Okay.
And you're wearing it in intense heat, often for extended periods of time.
Are they really doing as well, or like they want them to do as well? Like, let's really can we remove the lens? The thing is, I can see that the lens is on. If you remove the lens, let's be realistic. Put them both in the deep and let's see if it's the same.
But also, amid all this
And not against the average man and the top woman. Average.
focus and physical capabilities, we're missing something else important. The recent problems in Los Angeles had little to do with female firefighters. What we've seen so far is that potential failure issues were about basic infrastructure and management. Some fire hydrants didn't work.
Of course.
Fire trucks weren't strategically placed ahead of time. A major city reservoir was dry for a long time. And finally, the department hasn't kept pace with LA's growth. So the finger pointing there hit everyone, from the mayor's office to the fire chief's office on
So it's women everywhere. Okay.
down. But not one criticism was really about the performance of a female firefighter on the line. Now, from my point of view, women who can meet those physical requirements can absolutely do the job. If not,
But they lowered the standard. Why don't they keep it at the male standard? I'm confused. Why is it not at the male standard? Because, as you said, the fire doesn't care. Do you think the fire is going to be at the female standard? No. He said it's not. He said they lowered the standards.
those standards should be raised for everyone. So given that, it seems to me that the real question should be, should departments expend serious resources trying to recruit women into those roles?
No.
Now, they're doing it, of course.
No.
But still, with all that attention and extra resources, why aren't there more women
$1
fighting
million
fire?
is crazy.
As always, there's not one answer to a question like that. For some, it's lack of role models. And a good number of firefighters
Bro, it's not. But this is why I'm so. Bro, you know what it is, bro? Every day I'm convinced MK Ultra worked and they lied to us, bro. Because why are they trying to force it? If people don't want to do the job, don't leave them alone. You don't need to convince people to do the job if they don't want to do the job. So, a lot of people want to do that job. Leave it be. I'm so confused.
Dads who were firefighters before them. The firehouse living situation has its own challenges. These aren't just workplaces. Firefighters live there as well. Many stations weren't designed with mixed gender.
Mate, what is she doing? Well, this is propaganda. She's not getting nothing. This is propaganda. I'm sorry, no.
Crews in mind.
No.
Don't have separate bathrooms or sleeping quarters. No. Then there's the guys' club environment. Guys have a tendency to talk sex, read porn, and just be generally
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? It's about gear. The protective gear often doesn't match.
One sec, go back. What's wrong with that? This is something about. I swear they did some lawsuits as well because the Wall Street guys were like I swear one woman sued them because they were like fist bumping and all that bullshit, and she felt like left out because they wouldn't involve her in the co-working bullshit. Hey,
female body. Motherhood also throws a wrench in the works.
That's skill-based matchmaking. Skill-based matchmaking.
Firefighters have miscarriages.
Why is the kid in the building? Why is the kid in the building?
Twice the normal rate. Even after giving birth, mothers face unique challenges.
So what was that?
Even after giving birth, that pregnant firefighters have miscarriages twice the normal rate.
Shit.
Even after giving birth, mothers face unique challenges. Those who want to breastfeed have problems with erratic schedules and a lack of proper facilities. But here's a real elephant in the room. Most women just don't want to be firefighters. And that's not a criticism, it's just reality. I mean, it's a tough job. The same pattern shows up across almost all dangerous professions. The jobs with the highest fatality rates, logging, fishing, roofing, mining, they're overwhelmingly male. Look at logging, 97.8% male. Commercial fishing, 96% male. Roofing, 97.4% male. In fact, when you look at the top 10...
Why are we not fighting for this? Why are we not fighting to equalize this? I'm confused. This is bigotry. Why are we not forcing this to happen? Same way we're forcing it to happen with the firing squad. I mean, firefighters. Why are we not forcing them to go there too?
10 most dangerous jobs, men make up between 85 and 98% of all workers.
That's unacceptable numbers. It needs to be 50%. That's unacceptable. I refuse. Equity.
And nationally in the United States, men account for over 91% of all workplace
Oh my
deaths.
God.
Now, city officials obsess over the gender ratio in firefighting, but don't really seem to care about those other jobs. You don't hear anyone demanding more female loggers or roofers. Why? That's because cities don't run logging companies. It leads to a key question. Is the lack of females in firefighting actually a problem that needs fixing? I mean, look, past discrimination absolutely needed to be addressed.
What discrimination? Who said women can't be firefighters? Nature.
But we've reached a point where women have equal opportunity to join the force. The fact that most choose not to just might reflect different career preferences between men and women, something we see all the time. Look at the flip side. Some careers are overwhelmingly female. Speech-language pathologists, 95%.
Unacceptable. Unacceptable. I don't care if they can't speak. Remove them. 50% men.
Female. Dental hygienists, 95%.
Unacceptable.
As well.
I don't care if they fuck up the teeth. 50% men.
Teachers, nurses,
school teachers. Keep them where they are.
Only female. Yet there's no push for gender equality in these fields. The point isn't that we should discourage women from becoming firefighters. It's about recognizing that equal opportunity doesn't always lead to equal outcomes. And that just might be okay.
But that's what they're pushing, especially in Sweden. I'm not gonna lie, it's heavy.
Elements beyond sex. I mean, it's a question we need to wrestle with. Should diversity overall be a goal in firefighting?
No.
Launching its first ever Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Bureau. It is dedicated to ensuring a fair and equal workplace environment.
So by creating this new bureau, our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Bureau, now...
Yo, every day I understand more and more why America doesn't have free healthcare. When they're wasting taxpayers' money on bullshit like this. Why?
We actually have the staff to do the work when it comes to doing a deep dive in regard to how we do business.
I welcome all of you in this room to join, whether you're LGBTQ plus or not, or you're...
Can someone please explain to me why the fuck it matters? You know, I'm done. I'm not gonna lie. I can't do this. I can't. Yo, bro, what is this?
You're just an ally. You have family members.
Now let's break this down carefully because it's more complex than the slogan suggests. The word diversity means a lot of things these days, so let's look at it carefully. I mean, first, there's the concept of equal opportunity, and no one should dispute that. I mean, there was a time when women and minorities faced real discrimination in the fire service, and probably still do in some areas. Now, that wasn't just wrong, it was stupid. I mean, keeping qualified people out of a profession because of things that
They're
might
not
not
qualified.
affect that profession, that hurts everyone. But the broader concept of diversity—
They're not qualified if you have to lower the standard. They're not qualified.
something different. It's usually now become code for hire more of this particular type of person, whether that's based on gender, race, or something else. But in LA, they really want diversity. Alvin Brewer, the department's assistant DEI chief, wants the department to be recognized nationally and possibly even globally as an agency that is very serious about diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Why?
And whilst I have the utmost respect for the men in our fire service, this image that we have in our heads, it needs to change. You see, a homogenous workforce and this outdated calendar stereotype are no longer relevant in the modern fire service, and they actually limit our capabilities.
The gal in this video, which I've linked to below, she cited an instance of a female being small enough to free someone from a trapped space in a fire after a car crash, or that women can be more sympathetic to someone facing trauma, and those might be—
Okay, let's make something clear, okay? Nobody gives a fuck about their feelings. A woman being smaller is useless to the bone. If they cannot carry a body, they should not be in the van. Get them off the force. I'm sorry to break it to you. I don't care. If you want sympathy, we can get a nurse on standby. You don't need to be a firefighter. If you are weaker and you can't get in on the male standard, charge it.
some real goals. But much of it is similar to what I saw when I read through the LA Fire Department's Racial Equity Action Plan, where, to me, there was a lot of feel-good talk that essentially says diversity in the fire department is good because overall diversity in life is good. I mean,
Why?
They claim
Why?
that the public will trust us more if we're diverse, and that it'll strengthen the fabric of a community. Overall,
Propaganda is
the
crazy.
most cogent argument is what the assistant chief said in that video we opened with. The public will be more trusting if they see firefighters who look like them. But with the exception of language barriers, I'm not really sure that anyone
guessing
who's
it's only the
facing a
blacks.
fire or any kind of catastrophe really cares about the race or gender or religion of the person,
Facts.
as long as that person can do the job. I mean, if I had to choose between this guy or this guy, that's an easy choice. But we hear time and time again that city employees should look like the community they serve. And at first blush, that sounds wholesome. Here's something to think about. I live in a city right north of San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge. In my town, over 82% of the residents are white, and only 0.3%
But
of
they
them are
don't know.
black.
That's not what they
Should our
mean,
city
bro.
workforce
No,
really
no, because that will never happen. The 0.3%, all of them need to be on the force. All of them, because there's a little bit of them. So they all need to be on the force. None of that. If they majority white, you lost it. Hey, shut that shit down. The whole force is gone.
strive to mirror that? I mean, that'd mean only one black person for every 300 employees. I grew up in Arcadia, California, near LA, a city that's overwhelmingly Asian. Should its employees match those demographics? Or should a better policy be to instead try for firefighters, police, and teachers, find people who are good at their job and have good character,
Thank fuck,
and not
yes.
try to judge them by
Yes.
the color of their skin? Because there are
What
downsides
did MLK
to
say?
DEI and prioritizing diversity. Now, I'm getting away from statistics here because it's difficult to quantify, but it's a real issue. When an organization prioritizes non-paramount concerns, it can hurt their overall mission. Let me share something I've seen firsthand in multiple organizations. Now, I was a senior manager at Fox News for about 20 years, and I hated firing people. It was horrible for them and emotional for everyone involved. But sometimes people just couldn't do their job, and there was nothing we could do to fix it. But here's a reality people don't often talk about. I could fire a young white guy at will. I'd call up HR, explain the situation, and that would be it. But if that person was older, or a minority, or a female, there were always multiple meetings and extra accommodations made. If someone checked multiple diversity boxes, we'd often have the legal department involved too, because they knew, right or wrong, a lawsuit might be coming. Now,
What?
to some that sounds good and protective, but if you're a manager,
That's some bullshit.
you naturally start cutting some people more slack. You tolerate a level of incompetence among some that you wouldn't accept from anybody else. And when you have a fire chief prioritizing certain demographics,
How can she
I
gotta go?
guarantee
Personally,
these
she
same
has to go.
dynamics are at play, especially when you're routinely filling out forms like these, wanting to know how many male or female Filipinos you have in your fire department. And there's also a matter of focus. Did the top brass focus on diversity too much instead of fighting fires? I mean, there are major concerns about how the LA Fire Department positioned resources prior to a known major windstorm.
Opening new departments when the whole desert is on fire, bro.
Certainly should have known that fire hydrants wouldn't work and have dealt with that ahead of time, but they didn't. And the cost isn't just in compromised standards and a lack of focus. The LA Fire Department spends over $1 million a year just on DEI staffing.
Why? 2.62 million.
Now, that's a lot of money, even for a large department. Their equity plan openly pushes for changes in state law to bring back outright racial quotas and was surprisingly direct about sneaky ways to give more pay to firefighters who they thought were the right color. Of course, there is a flip
The
side.
right color. Okay, you see? I'm telling you, they lost it. See, now it's just like they're just going all the way to the other side.
This, and I understand that. Women and minorities have faced real discriminations in most professions.
Bro, these people are like, okay, hold on. I'm tired of this. The people alive today did not suffer shit, okay? They are not getting rewarded for their grandparents suffering. We're not going to do this. I will not be removed because my great-granddad lived good. We're not going to do this. The whole point was fresh slate. We're not going to reward people because other people suffered. Game is game.
Having laws and systems to prevent that is imperative. But what we're seeing now goes way beyond preventing discrimination into something else. Let me give you one example from my personal knowledge. I had one very good friend who was a paramedic in a city near LA. Now, years back, when outright quotas were still legal, he was told that because there weren't enough managers of the right race, in his instance it was Hispanics, for at least the next decade or so, no matter how good he was, he wouldn't be considered for a promotion, solely because he was white.
That's racist shit.
Now, they called it affirmative action, but from his point of view, it was ugly racism sanctioned by the government. Now, that certainly hurts morale, and it just seems as though the goal should be ensuring everyone has a fair shot at becoming a firefighter or a manager or whatever that is, not ensuring that every firehouse matches census data. So I reject many of the arguments that I see in this whole topic. I mean, we want equal opportunities, but the warm and fuzzy push for diversity's sake, there's a definite downside to that can't be ignored. But I was happy to see that despite that, in firefighting at least, they're not overtly lowering standards to make that diversity happen. So on a related topic, while we're talking about women, there's something that's undeniably true, but you can get in trouble for saying it seems. On average, women are more neurotic than men. Now, that sounds like an insult.
You know what it is, bro? I'm not gonna lie. This is a good video. I'm gonna watch more videos on the channel. They need to remove all quotas that don't have anything to do with the actual job. Sorry, my bad. One sec. Yeah. Anything that doesn't add anything to the job, your emotional, racial background, sexual background has no merit and it has no relevance, and it shouldn't matter. They should remove all of that shit and simply, you know what I'm saying? Make it a meritocracy. Why are we having quotas for these people? And I'm one of them. And I'm so confused. Yeah, bro, all this does is bring more racists. I'm gonna be real. Because if all the white people that are, like, you know what I'm saying, discriminated against for some bullshit, the 10-year thing would have bugged, I would have bugged out. I might sue the whole situation. The 10-year thing. The 10-year thing threw me all the way off. But anyways, man, I appreciate it, man. Catch you, man, tomorrow.